Rhizosorb is redefining what growers expect from phosphate fertilizer. Backed by data and built for performance, Rhizosorb helps reduce phosphorus losses, improve uptake, and boost ROI without increasing input costs. Join the next wave of growers switching to the next generation of phosphorus fertilizers by visiting phospholutions.com.
Welcome to The Truth About Ag. Welcome to the Truth About Ag podcast, distributed under the Real Agriculture Media Network and powered by the Heber Group of Companies. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment where you get your podcasts. And a quick shout out to Farmer Coach, the only primary producer entrepreneurial coaching program that lets you to define your definition of success. You decide, one day or day one. All right. You are my second returning guest, so you should feel really proud, Dallas.
Awesome, I do.
Yeah, I bet you do. So for those that have just joined us since the Real Ag Days, if you scroll back to episode 2 on YouTube, you will hear the initial one, which is, why does a 40-year-old farmer call it quits in the middle of his prime? But we are going to go one step further today because Dallas sat in on some of the Farmer Coach programs a couple weeks ago, and he said a few things to some of the growers, and I'm going to pick his brain a little more on this because I think it applies for those listening. We'll probably go a little bit off script today, Dallas, and we'll get into some of the fitness and other stuff that I know you've got an addiction for now. But for now, I'm going to start the easy one. Heebs and I had a massive bet going that you would be farming again within 3 years, and I think we have passed that line. So why are we not back on the farm?
Actually, Heebs owes me a trip to the static finals because of that.
I bet he does.
I haven't told him that I won yet, but yeah. Why am I not back on the farm? I don't know. I have honestly, I'm the first year I missed it quite a bit, but honestly now, I still go out there every once in a while, but I don't miss it at all. My life is far better today than it was then.
Well, that's going to be good because that's where I'm leading into the first question. Because the other day, you literally told a group of my growers that if you weren't happy farming, you weren't going to be happy not farming. So I want you to go back to that comment, and I want you to go deeper on that one.
Yeah, well, I feel like that comment pertains to anything in life. I guess how I came to that is I always chased my whole life, chased happiness and chased the next thing. Like there was always like, well, this was going to make me happier. Once I get to this acreage, I'm going to be happier. Once I get the lake house, I'm going to be happier. Once I get, whatever it is, the airplane, it could be anything in anybody's life. But what I actually found is the faster you hit your goals and the more things you acquire and the more you get in life, you actually become less happy. So what I guess I meant by that comment was like, if you can't be happy with a tent and a shovel and a tree and, where you are in life at this moment, things or achieving your goals or more money or, for the people that are farming, if they're not happy farming, just because they quit, they're not going to be happy. They have to find happiness first. And then, life's a lot easier after that. Like happiness doesn't come from things. It doesn't come from hitting your goals. And maybe it does give you a quick dopamine hit for a second, but then you're chasing the next one. And so what I meant is just, you have to be able to find happiness within. It doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from things. It comes from you.
Well, and I think the funny part is, and I mean, you and I have discussed this before. We can talk, we're going to get into the material things and all that stuff, but you were part of Strat Coach, so the gap in the gain, right? When you're always chasing, you never actually look back to celebrate where you've come from. So I think that was part of it, but it was an interesting one. And I know the guys are thinking about it because a lot of them are like, I need that next expansion. I need those next acres. That's going to get me to where I want to be. And I find that most guys go by that number and don't even realize they passed it.
Yeah, yeah, you pass it so fast. I think to even add on that is now that I sit here today and have, you know, I guess I can see things differently, but well, not everybody, most people in the world that I watch are walking around, you know, with no direction. Like, I feel like, you know, no, like back to Strat Coach, knowing your goals. So your financial goals, your health goals, your fitness goals, your spiritual goals, your family goals, you have to know them. And then you have to reverse engineer. Like, you have to be able to say, okay, well, what things am I doing today that are getting me farther away from my goals, and cut all that out. And then it'll be easier to find happiness, because so many people are just staring at their phones. They have no idea where they're going because they haven't set a goal, and they're just going in circles. And then the world swallows them, and then they're unhappy. But if you could figure out where you want it to go and cut out the things that were taking you farther away from there, it gets a lot easier. But you have to establish, like, you know, Dan preaches, know your goals. Like, establish those. Then you can go somewhere.
Which I would argue that 90% of people don't actually even have them, right? So we're talking
higher. It's probably 99.
Yeah, we're talking to a very elite set of sample that actually sets those goals, and then an elite sample that actually writes them down and accountable and all that stuff. So I want to pick your brain a little further. So you'd said that you had a bit of a downtime after you left the farm. So I want to jump into that a bit, because obviously I got lots of producers that are on that cusp of, you know, handing over the reins, or, as Dan would say, as Strat Coach, losing a bit of their purpose. So give me the story. So what did the first 12 months look like after, honestly, you woke up one day and didn't have to run out to the farm?
Well, I guess what I meant by that, when I said that a farmer coach, is like, it was just, again, back to the same thing. I thought, okay, well, you know, I've hit all my goals so far. I've got all the things, everything that I've wanted, I've bought it, and I'm not happy. So then I thought, well, if I quit farming, well, that'll for sure make me happy, because I'm going to have all this time. But it actually didn't. You know, going back to what I just said. So then it was kind of a weird time for a bit, like ups and downs, like going, wow, I just gave up like the thing I love the most, and I'm not happy. And I shouldn't say, like, I wasn't depressed. I wasn't like, but
You were looking for
feeling.
Yeah, you were looking for fulfillment, and it never came.
Right. Fulfillment. That's a good word. I was looking for this fulfillment or this feeling. And I was like, well, that's for sure it. Once I quit farming, I'm going to have all this time. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Stress gone.
Right. Stress gone, which I don't feel like I felt that anyways. But anyways, so yeah, rewind back to winter 2022. I'm not farming anymore. And I didn't have that feeling that I thought, oh, well, I'll give it a couple more months, it'll come. But it didn't. So then there's always that, well, shit. I can't go back. I actually set it up so that I couldn't go back, because I knew I might try to go back.
And we all thought you were going back, so.
Right. So I was like, well, now I gave up the one thing that I loved, and I'm still not happy. I still haven't found that sensation that I've been looking for. But I have today. But it was that first year, it just took a lot of soul searching of going, like, you know, looking inward, saying, you know, it's all on me. Like, I have to figure this out. It's not Evan's job to figure out. Or
I can't tell you how to live. Yeah.
Right. It's my job to figure out how I'm going to become happy. And thankfully I've had a lot of time, and I've done a lot of work. Like, I've attended just about every, you know, I've been in them all.
Well, oh, we're going into this. Don't worry about that. I'm taking you down this road.
And so every one has given me a little nugget to kind of find inner peace.
So since we opened the door now. So you obviously do more coaching than I do at this point. So out of all the coaches, whether it's professional, personal, all the things you've done over the last couple of years, which is a lot, what did you find were the best ones? Like, why were they the best, and who were they? And, you know, what actually pushed you to do it? Cause a lot of people would just sit there and not know where to go once they found out they weren't exactly happy with where they were. How'd you get out of that?
I mean, I think my personality just naturally goes, I just want, I mean, I had coaches even when I was farming, so that would be a natural thing to look for a coach. But I don't know. I just knew that there was more. Like just watch Tony Robbins speak and then start watching some of his videos. I know he's an easy one because he's the biggest, but and you look at his life and go like, how do I get that? Like, how do I get that level of happiness and fulfillment? And so I just started tending a lot as I possibly could. Yeah. It's hard with kids and a wife because most of them you got to fly somewhere, but I went to some virtually. But as far as they were all, awesome in their own way. I've got like little things from different ones, but like recently, I'd say the most important one in my life today has been going to, it's called Launching Pad, and Steve Weatherford puts it on. It's about basically finding spirituality and finding Jesus, like surrendering, to a higher, God and Jesus. And, I went there with honestly, with zero expectations, because that's not something I've been looking for something. Okay, I'll back up. I used to go to church when I was young with mom every Sunday. That was just something we did, but it was never something that
I just part of your life.
Mom took me there. Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
And then left the church. Once I went to university, never really went back except for Christmas and Easter when mom was back at mom's. And, but I was looking, I always knew, my grandma is really spiritual, and I just saw something, and I always knew that there was something there. And so Brady Funk was hosting this event in Swift Current, and I went to it. He flew Steve down, and I'm telling you, it was life-changing, and for a lot of people. And Steve's he's one hell of a human being. Like it was a great event, and it just things happened there that words can't explain.
Well, good.
That was one. Tony Robbins, I mean, they're all his stuff is 10 out of 10. You could go to his events, you could pay to do them, you could watch all the stuff online. I mean, it's free. It's good.
You've done the Navy SEALs one too, haven't you?
Yeah, I did that with a bunch of farmers, actually. Daryl Manette, Russ Manette, Derek Deary from Saskatoon. Yeah, it was super cool. Like, they kind of go over leadership, military style, and it was phenomenal. I actually want to do it again. Just need to find a bunch of guys that do it with me.
So I got a question for you. Why does a farmer from Saskatchewan jump into a course like that? What was what were you looking for, I guess, would be the question. Because I got lots of guys who, they come to Farmer Coach, but I mean, I'm pretty agricultural focused. I sometimes forget that I even go to Strat Coach, to tell you the truth. But what's the benefits to these guys? Because a lot of them don't see any benefit in the coaching side.
Well, every little bit you make yourself better, you make everybody around you better. So for all these guys, they all have teams, and lots of people under them. And I mean, I'm sure all of them know, the better your team is, the better your life's going to be. And I mean, that's what you're trying to teach them. These coaching courses, I can't even remember the saying what Keaton Hoskins says, but basically, like the best investment you can make with your time or financial is in yourself, and the courses though, like that, it was called Downrangers, that Navy SEAL one. I mean, it just teaches you so many leadership skills. Just some like little takeaways that were super cool about that meeting that you could take back to a farm. So and I think actually you guys do them. They call them after action plans. So as soon as you do an event like seating, you sit down with everybody, including the floor sweeper and the toilet cleaner and the managers, and everybody gets in a room and says, what were the wins? What did we screw up? How can we fix it? And then they talk about the meetings they have pre-events so that they're so detailed in systems that it can't be screwed up because they're dealing with life or death. So they can't screw up. And it just gives you a view of the other side where most of us are just gunslinging and winging it half the time, where if you put the systems in place, your team can't fail because it's not a human problem anymore. It's a system problem. Like if they screw up, it's a system problem, not a human problem. It was because you didn't have the right system. And they talk about lots of that stuff at the Downrangers course, because all their stuff is systems. And if someone screws up, someone dies.
What I think that's the biggest thing most don't realize is processes and people are what drives business. And to be fair, like you said, 90% of the time, it's not a people issue, it's a process issue. And we would call it a people issue without actually knowing, but there's probably no process to begin with. So it's really not a people issue.
Well, it's 100%. Like you could walk onto any farm and, say, let me see your processes. And probably most of them will look at you and go, the fuck were you talking about? Like,
oh yeah, for sure they would.
So, but yeah, that's a nugget from there. But I mean, everyone has some sort of benefit that you could bring back and implement on the farm. Even if you don't have a team, you could implement in your family life with relationship with your brother that you're farming with. Like there's every single one of them. Definitely has lots of stuff that you could bring back.
Okay, let's flip back because you did mention you reduced your material footprint, let's call it. So what was the thought process behind that? Because I mean, to be fair, Simmonds, when we met, you had every toy that I wanted and every sled and every boat in the cabin. So what's changed?
I don't know. I just think it happened when I quit farming and I still had all the stuff and I still wasn't happy. So I just started getting rid of things, and it felt like the more stuff I got rid of, the happier I got. So I got rid of, don't get me wrong, I still people that know me listening to this are going to say, well, he still has oh yeah, I still have probably more than most, but I have, a moderate number of snowmobiles now. I have
Considerably less than
I have no more watercrafts. I have one or two of a couple things, but I don't have the cabin anymore. I have one house. That's it. Where I live.
which is hilarious listening to. I have one house.
So I have a lot less stuff. I have one employee, and it's less is more is a real thing.
Oh, quote that. That one might be the catchphrase for this. Okay. I want to take you down another route here because honestly, this one's a little closer to my heart. So we discussed that one of the coaching, and it wasn't this go round, but you always hear the phrase that, you would take a bullet for your kids, or you take a bullet for somebody, or, you would be willing to stand in front of something. And that's how much you love them, or that's how much you care and all that stuff. But I heard a podcast at one time and they were talking about, and that's fine and dandy, but you're picking one end of the spectrum. So then they're going, well, would you get in shape for your family? Or would you stop drinking for your family? Or would you, would you eat healthier for your family? And it honestly, it hit me a bit of, we always look at the far extremes, but we never take the little steps. And I know that you've done a bit of a 180 since you called her down. So give me what that was. I mean, I know you've got an addictive personality. I know you do, Dallas, but what's up with the fitness side, I guess? And why didn't you have it when you were on the farm?
The fitness side is just, I guess, one of the things I really started chasing right after I quit farming was longevity. Okay. Now, along with the coaching stuff, I've been to Fountain Life. I've been to the Health Nucleus. I've gone to biohacking conferences. I own all the biohacking stuff now. So I think it was just, I wanted to chase, the fitness started with, I wanted to try and live the longest with what they call health span. I want to extend my lifespan too, but I'm more concerned about extending my health span, where I want to be healthy till the day I die.
Yeah, you don't want to get old and not be able to do stuff is essentially the layman's terms.
Right. And the more research I have done, the more muscle you have, the longer you live, disease-free, and just the longer you live in general. So I decided that I wanted to get in shape. It was hard for me because I absolutely hate it.
Oh yeah, you
love the gym.
That's my therapy.
Yeah, so it's something I force myself to do. But going back to that podcast that you listen to, I mean, it's so true, because your kids and your family, I mean, that's the most important thing that we all have. They're watching you. And like you said, would you get in shape for your kids? Well, if I can tell you, if you have these habits, guess what they're going to do? They're going to have those habits, like quitting drinking changed my life a lot.
What was the date?
June of 2022.
That's worth
a long time.
Yeah, you're 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm at the 6-month mark, and I think I'm doing good. I think last drink I had was at TPAP in Texas, so that was January.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a game changer. Definitely, I mean, I find that discipline is the biggest thing that almost all humans are lacking. And they're lacking it though, because once you start drinking, discipline goes out the window. You can't have it. But when you're not drinking, it's not that hard. Even I find, discipline till 5 o'clock of not eating bad stuff, super easy. 10:30, 11 after you've worked all day and then been at the gym, it gets a little harder because now you're tired. Any little thing that alters your state, it gets harder to be disciplined. And I mean, alcohol just throws everything. Well, for me anyways, once I start drinking, there's no discipline in any part of the world.
Let's pause the truth about ag to go into financial acumen. We are facing high cost of production, volatile markets. Come work with Maverick Ag. Why would you come work with Maverick Ag, Gibbs?
I'm a big believer in doing what you're good at. And so if you don't want to spend time in the details specifically of your financial management and financial acumen, then you're better off to partner with somebody. Run your farm, grow your crop, raise your animals, whatever your specialty is, and have a high level knowledge of the financial side. But let somebody work with you to get into the details and let you know when debt service is getting close to offside, what your cash flow is doing, and what months you're going to be tight, so that you can run the farm the way you want to be, as perfect as possible.
Do you want someone to help you deal with the banking regime or look at your next equipment deal? Reach out to Maverick Ag. That's maverickag.com. Well, and I always found it funny because back when I would try losing weight, I would tell people I was losing weight because it was almost like an accountability thing. Is once I said it, now you can't go back, because then you're going to see this person 2 weeks from now and you've put on 10 pounds and it's like, oh yeah, I was full of crap, right? So that used to be my trick. Is I literally, the discipline side was that I told people and then I was too embarrassed to not follow through on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the fitness thing for me is it's just plain like I want to extend my health span, and I knew it was something I had to do. Like I say, it gets put on my to-do list every day, and it's the one thing I probably stare at and go, son of like I do not want to do that.
And the problem is, I think more people probably associate with you than me, who literally thinks about it more than I think about anything else.
Right. And I mean, the reason I didn't do it when I was farming is like back to I was tired. So I had no discipline, you know, for anything. Fitness was like working out was also on my list back then too. It just never ever happened. And, you know, then you'd have a beer, and then well, for sure it wasn't happening.
But yeah.
And then, you know, so I wanted to do it. I just made excuses for 20 years for reasons why I didn't do it.
Didn't do it. Well, and I laugh because the next generation's actually changing a bit, because I have a few farmers that actually have set times, even during seeding, where they will shift off with employees or family members because they want to go to the gym, which is totally unheard of. Like that is so against the norm. It's unnatural almost.
And good for them. And, you know, they're going to be happier if they do that. And agriculture is tough, though, because, you know, like I'm really proud of those guys that do that, or, you know, that take time to sleep, because like sleeping is the number one health hack. Like if you want to live longer, exercise and sleep and quit drinking. And
I do have to tell the story here. So back when you were a client, before you called it quits, I literally had a phone call from your wife one seeding season, asking if I had seen you, because it had been days since she had seen you.
Yeah, I was the opposite of health back. Like I drank energy drinks like water. I never go to bed.
That vice is still there. Sorry.
Right. I didn't ever sleep. And if you slept in, I made fun of you because I thought like people who slept were weak. That was like a thing. That was a me thing, right? And yeah, I tried not to go to bed. Like I did everything bad, but you know, like you can make better decisions for your company, for your business, for your farm if you've slept. I realize this now, that like I didn't actually know what being rested was like. I just did 25 years of like extreme tired, but I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
So now that I'm rested, I'm like, wow, this is like, it's part of happiness. Yeah. If I could have slept more while I farmed, I'd probably have been happier, because I was grouchy.
And to be fair, we sell agriculture that way, right? It's a hardworking job. It's, you know, hands in the dirt, acres, not hours. Like it's literally, we've sold it like that for so many years that I think that people just started believing some of the bullshit that you couldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. And you're right. It is bullshit. Like you should never shame anybody for sleeping. Like that is the most healthy thing you can do. Sleep as much as you can. And, yeah, go to the gym, set an hour, 5 days a week, and whether it's seeding or harvest, find a way. Your life's going to be, and your business is going to be far better for it.
Oh, and I've told the story a million times. Like when I left the farm to come back to the city, I was in the worst shape of my life. Like I don't even recognize the person I was back then. And it took an aha moment of, I used to have to carry Ashton up 2 sets of stairs to get him to bed because he'd fall asleep in the basement. And there was one night I thought I was having a heart attack on the main landing. Like I was sweating, I was breathing, I had to set him down. I couldn't even get up the second set. And that was my aha moment of, okay. So I got a trainer the next day, and literally that's been, what are we at, 10 years ago, 12 years ago now? Like that was the shift for me.
Well, and there you just said it, like you hired a trainer.
Oh, I didn't do it my own.
Yeah, I couldn't, man, I could barely get to the gym. But at least when somebody's there to be like, hey man, I see you missed 2 days at the gym. Like what?
Accountability. Yeah.
Yes. So hire the people that know what they're doing. It makes it easier. Plus, when you get to the gym, at least I open my phone and go, okay, this is what's happening today. where otherwise you're wandering around staring at everything going, I don't know what I should do today. Maybe I'll sit on this thing. And, you know, like you show up with the plan, it gets executed. You show up, you get nothing done. So yeah, hire the people that know.
Okay, I want to pull you into something that this is my most interesting. So I know you've done stem cell treatments, and to be fair, this is going to sound weird for the farmers listening. I have multiple clients and multiple friends that have actually done these treatments. So give me your experience on the stem cell side, because I know I wouldn't say rave, but it's the newest thing that most are doing for longevity. What'd you get from it? What do you feel you got from it, I guess?
It was, now I know lots of people have went and they've got different,
Yeah.
you know, things from it, but for myself, it was life-changing. Like I was in a bad snowmobile accident when I was 16 and, you know, had lots of pelvis and damage and dislocated my hip. And so ever since then, I wouldn't say it was an extreme pain, but I was sore and hurting all day long, every day, from the second I woke up to the second I went to bed. And I've broken my shoulder quite a bit, so it was pretty sore. I hurt my knee playing hockey. My back was screwed. And it took one time in Colombia with a lot of stem cells, and I left there with no more hip pain at all. Like it went from whatever it was to 0.5. The only time I get a little bit of pain now is if I drive somewhere really far and sit too long. My knee went from like a 7 out of 10, literally so bad I'd get tears in my eyes sometimes, to now it's almost perfect. It's like a 20-year-old knee. My back is not fixed, but it's a lot better. Everything that I got injected is far better. And I don't know if I could go to the gym every day like I do without stem cells, because I was pretty rough shape and I wasn't taking care of myself. But since then, plus they give you a lot of energy.
So did they,
right after.
so you do spot injections then? They actually put it into the areas that were sore, or did you just do the IV?
I did both. I got the IV bags. I also got, very specific, like for my back, they actually put me out and injected they did MRIs first, and they look at your knee and your back, and they inject all the places that I was hurting. They injected specifically in those areas.
Because I know, don't get me wrong, we've done lots of research on them, and not only just for myself and my wife, but like for the kids, because on the autism spectrum, they're also supposedly doing quite a bit of cool stuff with stem cells on that side. It's not proven yet, so let's call it a future plan, but I know they're doing a lot of work there.
Yeah, I've been back since for some more treatments, but I met people down there that would have stories, why they're back for their third or fourth or fifth or sixth treatment. Yeah. And some of the stories these are real people. I met them in real life that, you would say like only Jesus could have done that, because like they're miracles. Like these are people that were paralyzed that are walking. One former, I can't remember if he was a ranger or in Delta Force, but he lost his leg and he was basically going to be suicidal. He was in 3rd-degree burns all over his entire body. And his wife thought, well, you know what? Let's try stem cells. And he said like it changed his life, because he's no longer in pain. And he's the happiest 6'7", 280-pound guy you've ever met. And he has a lot of wounds, but he said he is in no pain anymore. And that's why he's been able to heal just from stem cells. And there was people I met, the stories are like, they're almost not believable.
So now I hear the word Colombia. What are we walking into down there when you go into that? Is clean, dirty? Give me the MO.
Honestly, it's beautiful. I went down there nervous and almost scared because
That's why I'm asking.
Colombia. Yeah, it's beautiful. Honestly, a couple farmers went with me last time. Jeff Keller and Paul Vandertweel from like the Melford area, and we roamed around there like down the back alleys, like everywhere. Paul was actually just driving around by himself, going to waterfalls, and it's super safe. It's beautiful. Honestly, I would consider living there. It's that nice.
Really? And medical wise, like nice hospitals, nice
Medical-wise,
the treatment was
100 years. Yeah, they're 100 years ahead of us medical wise. Like their health facilities are, they're beautiful. Like they're clean, they're new. They're doing all the new treatments, like all the kind of braking technology. They're doing it all, where none of it ever lands in Canada because it's, it takes 20 years before someone will ever approve it. So
yeah. Okay, let's pull back from the fitness side. I want to go back to one more thing you'd said at Farmer Coach that I want to cover. So obviously we've heard heaps talk about the Tim Hortons farmers, right? Where you sit in and you get to bitch and complain about it, what everybody's doing around you. And you made the one comment that you do not give a shit what other people think now. And don't get me wrong, it was direct, but at the same time, how do you get there? Because I'm not going to lie, I still get stuck in that. I mean, I read the comments on some of this stuff. I've blocked people on Instagram, and I shouldn't give a crap, to be fair. But I'm not there. I'm not there yet. So how'd you get there?
Man, I don't know. That is a good question. I'm not sure I know how I got there. It took a lot of soul searching. Steve Weatherford definitely, in Swift Current with Brady, definitely that probably took me from where I was close to like right over the top. But I do remember saying that at Farmer Coach, and like I do truly believe that like you can't feel like eternal happiness or bliss until you've truly let go and just realize that what no one else says matters. Like it's funny because we all love ourselves more than anybody else. We all like to hear ourselves talk more than anybody else.
I'm good at it.
Yeah. Right. But yet we are always, worried about what somebody else says, like that we don't care about. Like that person that writes something on Facebook, you probably don't even, or Twitter or whatever about the podcast, you probably don't even know them. Yeah. And I haven't watched the podcast yet, but Rogan was on Gary Brecka's podcast, and I just saw the little snippet about how, he said he doesn't read the comments, and he truly doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks. He does what he does. And that's why he's great, is because he doesn't care. He just does whatever he wants. And that's what everybody loves about him, is because he doesn't care what Donald Trump thinks. He doesn't care what like the person you don't know thinks. He just doesn't care what anybody thinks. And that's why he's so good at what he does. But I really, truly feel like for me, when I stopped caring, I mean, there's still a couple people, like your wife and your kids, you still care about what they think, but I'm talking about everybody else.
Yeah, Joe Public.
Yeah, you just gotta let go, because at the end of the day, none of them care about you anyways.
Oh no, and I think right now I'd say we live in a society, and I mean even on the agriculture side, where we're so worried about what other people think that it actually dictates some of our decision making, whether it's what color implement we drive or what our pickup truck looks like. And I'm preaching from the choir because I drive a truck that I don't need, but to be fair, that's why I bought it. I bought it because it got looks, and I shouldn't give two shits, but I do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we all, well, it's ingrained in our society to like care, but yeah, I can't give you the roadmap, but maybe in a year or two I can, because that's just happened for me. Like this is pretty new.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, it gave me that final feeling of like, wow, now life is surpassed awesome now. You know, when you can quit caring what anybody thinks, surrender to like Jesus or a higher power, like you just can walk around happy all day and you don't care what's happening around you.
Well, and I laugh because they always show the Facebook comments of like the rich people and they're dressed in, Armani suits and drive Ferraris. And then they go to the super rich or the wealthy and you got an Elon or you got a Zuckerberg who's wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt because they don't give a shit. And I mean, the truest thing I heard was on Shark Tank when they were talking about Mark Cuban and they literally said, don't beware the guy in the suit, beware the guy in the t-shirt because he's the one who's actually successful.
Right. Yeah, those other guys are still trying to impress somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy in the ripped sweatpants on the old sneakers
Doesn't give you shit.
really, truly doesn't care. He's the guy that's truly won. Because it is taxing on your day, your life. You know, when you're constantly worried about A, either impressing somebody or B, what they're thinking of what you're doing, it's very taxing on your day and your life.
Yeah, you're trying to look the part all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because this is an agriculture podcast and I hijacked this one from Hebes, I'm gonna pull us back a little bit. So you've been on the outside for what are we at? 3 years now? 4?
Well,
I want
two, 2, yeah.
Okay, 2 full ones. I want to have your opinion on from the outside looking in now. What do you see in agriculture right now that you like or that scares you? So give me those 2. And I mean, this is totally outside because you're not part of it right now, but I know you still own land, but that doesn't make you a primary producer. Give me your opinion.
Oof, what do I like? I guess the the people in ag are, I kind of think, what makes it special. Like I still say this because I've done a lot of things outside agriculture in the last 5 years, and you just don't meet the same type of people. The people in agriculture are very genuine, hardworking, blue collar, for the most part, very trustworthy people that, they want to fulfill their side of the deal, whether it's a handshake deal or a contract that was signed. And they take it very personally, to try and fulfill their end of the deal. Where outside agriculture, that's not necessarily the story.
A little more
I'm
cutthroat.
not trying to paint every other business that way, but because there's some good ones outside agriculture, but for the most part, most people in ag are that way, and most of the stuff out of agriculture is basically like, we'll step on you if we have to, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, or they made a contract with you and they'll just throw it out the window. And, it doesn't, so the people in agriculture are still, very special. What I don't like about ag is, well, I'm not sure. I would say it is one of the most unhealthy jobs you can have.
Explain. Go deeper on that.
You are taught to not sleep,
Yep.
not exercise. The guilt thing that I heard you talk about at Farmer Coach, like it's a real thing. And I suffered from it the entire time. Like if you're not on the farm, you feel guilty. And that is something that we need to fix in agriculture because I feel like there wouldn't be a whole bunch of people at Farmer Coach or anywhere talking about quitting farming if we could fix a couple small things like, yeah, let's book 45 minutes or an hour a day to exercise. Let's prioritize, it doesn't have to be 9 hours of sleep, but like 7 might be nice, or 6.5. Cause like I was trying to do 2 or 3.
Well, and we wonder why we have labor issues in ag. I mean, we sell it as you're not going to work 9 to 5. You're going to work the hours we need to work to get the job done. That could be 16 hours a day. That might be 8. You don't have a set terms. You might be working weekends. And then we're like, well, I can't get anybody to work for me. I don't know why.
Right.
Like, it's one of the biggest conversations we have at Coach is that. And the guilt side. I mean, it's a real thing, and it shouldn't be. I mean, Jeff Bezos just took how many weeks off to go on his honeymoon in his yacht. I'm pretty sure he's not feeling guilty that Amazon's still running without him. So why in agriculture are we so tied to the farm that it's a guilt trip? And then why do we feel that we always have to micromanage that nobody could do as good of a job as us? Like,
yeah, guilty.
Yeah. That's why I said it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think it is changing. Like, it is getting better.
Yep.
I think it stemmed down from, like, all these farms were family farms, and I'm just, throwing the softball out here, but like, they were really poor not that long ago. Only one generation ago, they were really poor.
Yep.
And so, when they were starting to turn it over to their, next kid, it was kind of like, hey man, like, if you're not working, you're part of the problem. Like, so you just kind of got ingrained in you that, like, work. But I do think, like, even being a coach, like, those guys, they understand it, and they're trying to be part of the solution, and they're trying to get away from it. And, if they can figure it out, they won't pass it on to their kids. Because anything you can fix, in yourself, you won't pass on to the next generation. So it's getting better, but it's slow.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, agriculture always is slow. I mean, we're still 10 to 20 years behind a lot of other industries on a lot of stuff. But I am starting to see that. And to be fair, I also think that's why succession and transition is as high up on the list as it is, because the next generation doesn't want to work that way, and the past generation doesn't understand why not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the other thing about ag too, that, I would love to see, some of the smaller farms be able to stay, like, as small family farms, because we're going away from that. And I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, because it's just the way it is, right? And, like, I can use Daryl Manette as an example. He, what he's done is remarkable, and it's amazing. Like, no one's even come close to doing that in North America. But it would be nice, and he doesn't want to farm them all either. It'd be nice to have some sort of balance where we can keep some smaller ones around too.
Well, and to be fair, I think consolidation's been pushed really hard on the industry right now, and a lot of it's discussion and not even the fact, because I mean, there is still a ton of small family farms. We just got to understand that there's not enough big farms to actually take over all the acres in Canada. So we got to be somewhat clear here that the small family farms are still going to be around if they can weather the storm. And I mean, weathering the storm might be a strategy of how do you niche to make enough money to do it. Right. Not selling to the big guys all the time. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that have to shift, but at the same time, in agriculture, we need the small family farms, whether anybody believes I'm the one saying that, because obviously we get a bit of a agenda that we're the big consolidated farm, but honestly, we don't survive. The industry doesn't survive without the small family farms. So that's part of where Farmer Coach came from, is that I don't have a whole bunch of 20,000 acre farms in the program. We have medium to small to large. We have all sizes of family farms. It's more or less about getting better at your scale. It's not about trying to scale up and consolidate. I got lots of farms that don't give a crap about acres. In fact, they're trying to get over the guilt thing so they can go watch their kids play hockey and have somebody run their 3,000 acre farm for a couple of days for them. So I think that's the part that's missed is a lot of it gets pushed that we want consolidation. Well, it's not possible. There's not enough access to capital for big farms to take over however many acres in Canada. Let's be fair.
Right. I think the one part though that a little bit is worrisome to me is that, you know, this next generation, that's just starting right now, like the guy that's maybe 18 years old today, and he's going to inherit, you know, a bunch of land now that one, you know, 25, 30 years ago was worth almost nothing, is now worth a lot of money. And it's going to be really hard for him to look at the bank and go, I could stay in debt and work my ass off and struggle, you know, for the rest of my life to have a great life, or I could just quit right now because mom and dad gave me a golden nugget. And that's a really tough place to be in at 20 years old or 30 years old even, and to keep farming.
Well, and I think that's where we're behind the U.S. because the U.S. is 1 or 2 generations ahead of us on the ag side. So they've already gone past, like, the generation that started the farm is gone. Like, so the siblings and all the rest, the non-farming generation actually owns a lot of the land. Where in Canada, we're still in that first gen. Like, there's a good portion of the farms that are going to retire in the next 10 years still own the first generation farm.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, we've got issues coming. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I mean, if we're going to do that, we might as well lead into the article that says we're going back to 80s prices, because wouldn't that solve everything, Simmonds?
Well, yeah, it would. It would, but this is how we get there. There's not enough big farms. You said it.
Yeah.
And too much land has to turn over somehow. Hopefully it's in rent, but if it comes for sale, it's one of the ways we might get to 30% down, or, I mean, I don't think it could ever go past there, but once we get there, it gets pretty easy to go lower.
Oh yeah, if it hits 30, I'll give Claren back all the props. It's probably going back to the 80s. I'm interested to know what that line is, because I mean, I wrote the blog that said it ain't happening, or at least I don't think it's happening. What's the line where guys either start selling because they're worried it's going down? I mean, we all know we don't sell at 16 canola, we sell at 14 because we're scared it's going to 10, right? When does that happen with land?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even pretend to guess anymore.
No, it is. It's a guess. I'm very clear.
I'm going to say we're going to stay flat for a while, maybe down 10%.
Yep.
And no lower than that. But again, I'm completely guessing, because if it does trend down to 20 or 30%, it can blow up pretty fast.
Oh yeah, I'm with you, and I'm the one who wrote the blog. It wouldn't. I'm the one that, like, if it goes past 30, I think all bets are off. I don't see it getting to 30, so that's just me. But okay, so we're at the 51-minute mark. For those listening that wanted strictly ag, sorry you didn't get a full ag podcast. But what's next for Mr. Simmonds and his family? So we've talked about everything. What's the next life metric?
Well, we are headed to Utah in 14 days. We are moving to the U.S. So I guess
I won't touch why. Let's just leave that one out of there.
There really is no why. It's just the whole lot of things. But we're just, it's something me and Mallory have talked about for a long time. And we just said, you know what, why not? Let's go try it. We've only committed. We rented a house. We're only committed till April. We'll be back in April, and then we'll sit down and have our after action plan and decide whether it's something we want to go right back to, or, we love it here. We're going for kind of one hockey school season, and then we'll be back.
Okay. That's why I have you on, Simmonds. You are an interesting individual, my friend. So I heard the stories. I like them. So that's part of it. And I wanted some of our listeners to hear it as well, because obviously you give a different perspective on the after farming, I guess you could call it. Right. So I appreciate you coming on, and any final comments?
No, just appreciate you having me on. Like, I love this, because this, like I say, besides coming a farmer coach or sitting on that podcast with you, lots of this stuff I don't talk about. So I don't have a friend circle anymore that I used to have. So
welcome to the club. That's what happens when you change your lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like, share, subscribe, comment, and ring the bell. And if you have any other future guests you want to hear about, please drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear who you want Heebs and I to interview next. So, and obviously got through Ag in Motion, and thanks to everybody that comes up and gives us some support on the podcast. We appreciate it. And we love that people actually listen, which was not an expectation we ever had when we started it. So we'll go with that. And remember, that's the truth about ag. Thanks for joining us. The Truth About Ag podcast is a proud member of the Hebert Group, which includes Hebert Grain Ventures, Maverick Ag, and Farmer Coach. We appreciate the support. Lastly, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you have questions for a future podcast, please leave in the comments below. Thanks for listening.